Hey everyone, it's Alison Heikkila. Thank you so much for joining me. We are going to play with some Artesprix sublimation goodness today. We're going to play with some of the bold sublimation markers and one of their brand new sublimation coloring books. These coloring books are so cool because they're all ready to go. All you need to do is color the images in and then sublimate onto whatever blank you feel like using, and you're done. This is perfect for beginners, perfect for people that don't necessarily stamp or stencil or anything like that. Perfect for people that don't draw themselves, maybe they're not really sure what kind of artwork they want to use. It's great for camps, it's great for Girl Scout troops, it's great for all sorts of things, classes, or just if you like coloring. So we're going to dive in. Again, we're going to use the bold sublimation markers. I've already got them face down in a cup here because you want to make sure that the marker ink goes down to the point. And let me show you. This is the small mandala. There's also a large and a medium. I'm going to show you those. So these are the designs that are in here. They're really pretty. And then the same designs are in the medium, but they're a little bit bigger. And then the large is this one. So you can see how big that is. So you've got 3 different sizes for the same book. There are also letters, and this is actually the coolest thing because the letters are already backwards for you. If you've watched me do any lives for Artesprix or my other videos or tutorials for Artesprix, anytime you need to do letters or numbers, they need to be backwards so that when they sublimate, they're facing the right direction. So this takes the guesswork out of it. It's already done for you. And there's a bunch of different fonts in each of these books. So this is the script and this is the print. And guys, they're really inexpensive. They're like $5 for these. So you just cut out whatever letter or design you want to use and color it in, and then you can sublimate it. Super easy. There are other designs as well, but like I said, today we're going to be using the small mandala on a luggage tag. So this is a 2-sided blank, so you can actually sublimate on both sides if you want to. You don't have to. It comes in a pack of 2, and it comes with these little plastic pieces that you use to loop through here once you've sublimated to close it off, to make it hangable. You can use ribbon if you're not using it as a luggage tag. You can use like a key ring kind of thing, whatever you want. But it comes with this, and it actually comes in a pack of 2. So I decided we're going to actually use this design. So let me go to that one. That's over here. And I'm going to just cut this out. You don't have to worry about fussy cutting or anything like that. You just want to be able to get, sort of close, and you don't want to cut into any of the other designs. Okay, that's done. And now we can just color. This is the easiest thing to do, guys. This is the easiest thing. So I've got my markers, I've got my color, my coloring page cut out, and now we're just going to play. So I think I'm going to start with the ruby color. And I have a piece of scrap here just to make sure that the color is flowing properly. I haven't used this color in a bit. I just want to make sure it's flowing well. And then that's it. I mean, it can't be easier. This is super fun and super easy. You don't want to necessarily do wet techniques on this, so if you like watercoloring with your markers, you probably won't want to do that with this one because it is a thinner paper. But if you're doing your own design or you're stamping or drawing or whatever, you can do this on heavier paper like watercolor paper or Bristol cardstock, things like that, and then you can do more of the wet techniques. But really, I wanted to show you these coloring books because they're so cool. I'm not going to make you watch me do every single section, don't worry, but I figured that while I was coloring, I'm sorry if you hear my dogs barking. I think they're about to go for a walk, so they're very excited. So we're going to have a bit of a chemistry lesson today and talk about what sublimation is. Sublimation is when you take a solid and you go right to a gas. So if we think about it in everyday kind of objects, If you have ice, ice is a solid. The liquid phase would be water. The gaseous phase would be when it's a steam or a vapor, okay? When you sublimate, you're taking a solid and you're going to go straight to the gas. You're skipping the liquid phase. So our design is our solid, and then when we add heat and pressure through a heat press or an iron or one of those Cricut presses, it's going to make the molecules of color jump around, get really excited, turn into a gas, and then they're going to permanently bond to our blank or substrate. In this case, it's going to be our luggage tag. And that can be any of the blanks that you get from Artesprix, and you can get blanks from other places as well. Like you can get them at Dollar Tree sometimes. It needs to be polyester coated or be made of polyester. The higher the polyester count, the better. You want it to be at least 50%, and that's going to give you kind of a vintage look. If you have 100% polyester, then it's going to give you the best results. So again, from Dollar Tree, you can get like oven mitts, and they'll say on the tag 100% polyester. There have been videos that I've seen before about polyester items that you can sublimate on from IKEA. Just need to do a little bit of research, take a look at the products that you're looking at. But again, Artesprix has a ton of awesome blanks. So definitely check there first, because whatever you get from Artesprix, you're going to know is going to work, because, you know, they're the ones that are making the sublimation markers and paint and stamp ink. And if you haven't seen me do sublimation before, I really encourage you to either check out the playlist that I have or go on my blog. You can even go to Artesprix's blog and take a look there, because there's so much there. And any of my Artesprix posts are step-out tutorials, unless there's a video for it. If there's a video for it, then I don't do a step-out photo tutorial for obvious reasons. But yeah, I hope that, you know, if you've been curious about this stuff at all, that now maybe you give it a try. So now I'm going to use Blaze, and I think I'm going to use Blaze in these little bits here. This will be fast. And then I think I'm going to move on to Marigold, and I'll put Marigold where the inside portion of where the ruby is. Okay. So in case you're curious, this coloring book was printed with the same ink that is in these markers. So the black outlines are going to show. So you don't need to worry about that. Now, you can't just go to your own printer and print off, you know, different sheets and try sublimating it and it'll work. That's not the way it is. It has to have sublimation ink. So that's a whole nother expense that many of us don't want to deal with. So having these coloring books, especially at their price point, is awesome. Now I'm going to do Plum in the center. And this is just one of the packs of sublimation markers that are available. Again, these are the bolds, and there's also pastel. And then there's the original colors, which is, you know, your basic Roy G. Biv plus pink and gray, black and brown. So you have lots of options with colors, and you can even mix them together if you wanted to do like watercolor techniques. I think what I'm going to do now, I was trying to decide if I wanted to leave it like this or if I wanted to color in these little places here. Kind of think I want to. I want that extra color. So I'm going to do that, and I'll come back when that's all done. My mandala is all colored, and now we get to move on to sublimation. My heat press is already set to 400 degrees, and I forget the time. I think it's 60 seconds that we're going to be sublimating. So that I will wind up doing off camera because I can't bring my heat press over here. So let me tell you about this next step though. We need to use protective paper and we need to use heat tape in order to move on. And these items are both from Artesprix. The heat tape obviously is going to be super safe when you're using it under the heat and pressure of a heat press or an iron. You don't need to worry about it melting or ruining your design. It's going to be great to attach your design to your blank. The protective paper is going to trap any of the excess gas, meaning the color that has that was a solid that is now being transformed into a gas through the chemical process of sublimation. It's going to trap all of it so that it doesn't get anywhere that you don't want it to, meaning the top of your heat press, the bottom of your heat press, your home iron, a towel that you might be using, the siliconized mat that you might have that you might be working on. It's just going to keep it all contained and not let it escape. So I've already got these open. Here's my heat tape and here's my protective paper. So first we need to apply our design to our blank. So I'm going to just kind of get this lined up here. I'm using my glass mat as a reference. And I think we're gonna go like that. That looks good. And now I'm gonna apply my heat tape, making sure that it's tacked down really well. You need to use more heat tape if you're using an iron than if you're just using a heat press. This should be good. Okay, now I'm gonna take my protective paper and we're gonna make what's called a sublimation sandwich. So if you think about a sandwich, you need 2 pieces of bread, and then you need the cheese and your meat or veggie patty. So what we're going to do is the protective paper is our bread. The design is our cheese, and the blank, whatever it is, in this case it's our tag, our bag tag, is our meat or veggie patty. So we need to make sure we have 2 pieces of bread, then the cheese, then the meat, and our other bread is on the bottom. See? And this is our sublimation sandwich. So I'm going to bring this over to my heat press and press this for 60 seconds at 400 degrees, and then we'll do our peak test to see how it looks. Okay, our sublimation is done. Now, I don't know if you can see this really well. Can you see that bit of blue that's here in the center? That is exactly what we need our protective paper to do. We want it to trap that excess gaseous ink that could get onto other surfaces. Okay, so now we're going to do our peak test. We're going to carefully lift part of the design away from the blank to check to make sure that it's sublimated well. Take a look, guys. Look at how pretty that is. So now that we can see that it looks good, we can remove the rest of this. It's still very hot, if you couldn't tell. But if it hasn't transferred well, then we have the opportunity to just lay this back down and resublimate. But it looks great. Look at those colors. Look at the before and after. That was something that I meant to mention. They look very muted while you're coloring or painting or doing whatever with them. But once you sublimate, they brighten up and become beautiful, vibrant colors. How pretty is that? So fast, too. This is great for teacher gifts. The end of the year is coming for many students, and you might need something quick to make for teachers. Bag tags are great. The bookmarks are my favorite thing to use. So many options on the Artesprix website, and these can be done lickety-split. Especially if you've already got your heat press going, and if you're using something small like this, you can get a bunch of these made all at once. You just heat press them all at the same time, and you have an awesome gift that is going to last forever because the ink has been permanently bonded to this surface. So you can get this wet. It can go and sit outside in the rain and in the dirt, and it's not going to affect it. It's going to be totally fine. So I hope that and you have the back side of this one too. You don't have double sides on everything, but this particular one you do. I hope that this taught you a couple of things about sublimation. I hope it gets you kind of excited to try it yourself. Make sure that if you go to the Artesprix website and you shop, you use my code ALISON10. That's ALISON10, and you'll get 10% off of your purchase. Plus, the prices have just come down on, I think, most of the Artesprix products themselves. Not the blanks, but like the markers, which you can also buy individually now. And again, the coloring books are fantastic. So definitely check them out if you haven't yet. And if you're a stamper like I am, or a stenciler like I am, this is a great way to expand the usage of those stamps and stencils because there's so much you can do with them. And then you can apply them to permanent things and not just use them for paper crafting. So that's it for me. I hope you like this project. I'll be back very soon with something else that's probably more paper crafting, but I want to do more of these sublimation videos. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this and if you want to learn more. I will see you all very soon. Be well, stay safe, peace out.